We are near St. Paul with Abeyna, who is a junior doctor. Now there is a demonstration about the problems of NHS. Let's talk about the problems of your group of the junior doctors.
I think the main problems are that we have recently rejected the contract that was negotiated by the BMA. The reason is that most doctors feel that the contract is unsafe for patients, and it's basically pushing an already stretched NHS.
So how much is a junior doctor now receiving?
Sorry, say that again?
How much is now a junior doctor receiving?
Receiving? Oh, well, that's completely variable, to be honest. It really depends on where they're working, what their base rate is. But essentially, a junior doctor can start a salary of about 20k, and that's after about 5 years of work of studying in medical school, which isn't really comparable to a lot of other sectors. And the salaries can vary considerably, but I think the real issue is they're changing the way that the salaries are structured, because doctors will end up potentially working, say, for hours apparently, but for not as much pay, which is quite difficult because the training as a doctor is extremely expensive. You continue while after you've graduated, and living in some places, particularly around London, is currently unaffordable.
So it means that many junior doctors are now forced to be commuters and to spend hours to move from where they live and the workplace.
About that, I think that's something that's been going on quite a long time. We tend to essentially move as according to where the job is, which is not an uncommon thing to do generally as an individual. But I think the problem is it's something that's been kind of developing over the last few decades, whereby doctors are forced to move for their job in areas that they're completely unfamiliar with, and essentially it's a choice of the career. A lot of doctors tend to have relationships with other healthcare professionals or doctors. They can be split apart, and that's not great for a work-life balance. So doctors generally are demanding a better work-life balance, a better work environment because the morale is really low, and to be recognised and valued as a healthcare professional.
And too many hours of work means also a potential danger for the patients, or not?
Well, at the moment, you're probably aware of the European Working Time Directive that essentially says we have to work a maximum of, I think, 42-hour week.
After Brexit?
That's the thing. After Brexit, who knows? It's completely undecided. And as we all know, doctors that work, or any healthcare professional that works beyond those hours, are more likely to be tired, more likely to make mistakes, and that essentially will affect patient care. And in reality, on the ground, doctors actually work a lot longer than their prescribed hours, and that's completely unpaid, and it's not monitored. So some of the new points of the contract was they were going to have guardians that will actually make sure that they stick to those rotas, but I think it's highly unlikely in such a busy environment to actually be adhered to.
When we talk about the junior doctors, we can think about very young doctors, but there are some who have been in this situation of being junior doctors also for over a decade, who are over 40 who are still junior doctors. So when is the end of this status? I
think the word junior is a complete misnomer. Essentially, you're a junior doctor.
Junior forever.
Anytime, as long as you're not a consultant, you are a junior doctor. And to become a consultant, you have to go through a prescribed training program, and the duration of that varies depending on the specialty, and it depends whether you want to train to become a consultant. So actually, the majority of doctors you find in hospitals are junior doctors. For example, I'm a junior doctor. I graduated just over 10 years ago, and I've gone through various training pathways, including surgery and occupational medicine, and I'm still a junior doctor, but I've got a hell of a load of expertise behind me.